I was here as an elementary school student before the building was built. In fact, I remember watching the Vikings practice in the field just out across from this building, but the building wasn't here.
One of the great things about this building, at least up on third floor, is we have a mix of faculty from a variety of different disciplines.
If you were to go to lunch, you might, as an English professor, find yourself talking with a math professor and a psychology professor.
These different mindsets, these different approaches to thinking have all been brought together on third floor Hagg Sauer.
That's Don Anderson and his wife, and he was department chair at the point that I was tenured. He certainly had a sense of humor, and apparently he had great legs.
To keep students' attention occasionally, and I was a much younger man then, I would jump up onto the tables and I would move from row to row on top of the tables, and it was a fairly effective strategy for keeping students at least paying attention to me, maybe not engaged in the material, but at least paying attention to me. And thankfully, I never fell and I didn't hurt myself, and I know that if I had to do that again today, there's no way I could get her done.
Coming into this office, and of course the windows were sealed when the building was built, and Dr. Steve Gurney, another friend of mine who taught romantic poetry, so we were in cahoots about the poetry, came to my office and he jimmied open the window with his screwdriver and said, "You poets must have fresh air." And he said, "Now just every time you leave your office, close it." And I can still get fresh air.
I know that since I got here in 2008, they were talking about remodeling or changing the building almost every year, and it was always sort of a running joke.
The building has some problems.
It's got weird stairwells that go up but not down.
They've had to remove the vent cover off my heater because the pipes would freeze, right? To get ambient air to keep it so that the heat pipes wouldn't freeze.
It's a really odd building. I mean, to somebody who is new to it, if they come in, the reception center isn't on the main floor. It's on the third floor. How are they going to know that? If they get to the third floor, they find themselves in a maze.
It takes a long time to master third floor Hagg Sauer, and you can always tell the first year students because they come up here looking for some professor and they just can't find them.
How do you get out of here? Because you can't see out from anywhere. So they have no landmarks. It's the oddest building.
My special memories are of Jerry Schnabel from the history department visiting my colleague Sue Scrivener, and they would be telling each other jokes, and their laughter would just go up and down the hall. I would always go over and try to find out what they'd said, you know. It was great.
Not long ago, all of these shelves were full, and it makes me think of all the intellectual energy that's been generated in this building by faculty, certainly, more importantly by students. I also had to throw away many, many, many pieces of writing by students, and somehow that was a harder thing to part with.
Right, the technology is dated, and I'm excited to have classrooms to do new techniques in, and I think the new techniques are needed for today's student that we don't have in this building.
Dr. Phil Sauer would be quoted, he would say this, he would say, this school has a soul. He said that. He had deep feelings for Bemidji State.